Okay, welcome back to Epic Film Fail, where the films fail epically, and we are going to get through this one as quickly and painlessly as possible. I know I said that I was going to revive Epic Film Fail with this, but no. We'll get to that shitstorm eventually, but right now, oh no. This piece of shit, this is taking precedence. Out of the shadows, you're out of the woods. For now. So to give you all a little context about why this movie just brings me to my fucking boiling point, I'll give you a little background. Death Note is based on the anime of the same name, which was in turn based off a popular manga series. Both the anime and manga revolved around the psychotic, egotistical genius, Light Yagami, who finds a book that allows him to kill anyone whose name he writes inside it. He has to picture the person's face in his mind, write the name, and cause of death. If the cause of death is not specified within a certain time frame, the person in question will simply die of a heart attack. When the killings become more frequent, he has to hide his identity from the world that has dubbed him Kira, or Killer, as he is hunted by law enforcement, the government, and a special agent known as L, whose mind rivals even that of Light's. Most of the series focused on Light and L entangled in a game of cat and mouse. However, unlike most stories where the main focus would be on the hero, the show had us following the exploits of the villain. Yes, Light was the bad guy, aided by a fellow Death Note carrier named Misa and the Shinigami, or Death God, Ryuk. From the beautifully drawn characters to the engaging themes to the suspenseful storyline that always kept its audience on their toes, Death Note is nothing short of a masterpiece. So you could probably imagine my dismay when I found out that they were doing an American remake of it, which, given America's track record of adapting other shit from other countries, that wasn't a good sign. And of course, you can probably imagine my displeasure when I saw the movie, only for it to be complete dog shit. And honestly, it pains me to say that because it is directed by a man who I think is incredibly talented. Adam Wingard has proven himself to be a damn good director in the past. The Guest was amazing, and I even defended his version of Blair Witch last year. Yes, I absolutely loved this movie, and this is coming from me, someone who absolutely despised the original Blair Witch. I didn't care much for Your Next, but even I have to admit it was very well shot with a good lead performance from Sharni Vincent. So yeah, I am a fan of Adam Wingard. Hell, we went to the same college. I friggin' admire the guy. So how did he get roped into this film? Well, the making of this movie has a long history going back as far as 2009. At one point, Zac Efron was in talks to play the lead role in the film. It went through several directors, including Shane Black, who was presumably fired because he didn't approve Warner Brothers' idea to change Light's entire backstory and remove the Shinigami from the story entirely. Yeah, that was a thing at one point. Gus Van Sant was even set to replace Black as director. Yeah, good change over there, guys.
Jesus, Ben, I said I'm busy.
But when Netflix bought the rights from Warner Brothers, Netflix hired Wingard to make the film with a $40 million budget and a rewrite from screenwriter Jeremy Slater, the man who gave us such classics as The Lazarus Effect and... oh, if there's a God, just kill me and make it snappy. So folks, this is a hard one. That being said, to detail my problems with this thing as an adaptation, I'm going to be displaying a lot of spoilers from the anime in this video. So I actually urge anyone who has not seen the Death Note anime to not continue on with this review. Watch the show, take in how amazing it is, and then come back here because I really don't want to spoil this for you. Not watching the anime is to do yourself a grave injustice, so you've been warned. Well, Death Note, the time is here, and you shall know my name is Kira when I lay my vengeance upon thee. So the movie begins with a bunch of slow motion shots at a clearly not of this world high school where cheerleaders are allowed to smoke in the middle of practice, every student in class raises their hand, and our main character does homework for other people in exchange for money, right out in the open where everyone can see him. And he's apparently so good that he doesn't even need to finish the homework before he's paid for it.
Think about that. That's just dumb.
That's 2 minutes. 2 minutes in, and Light's character is already completely wrong. Someone better have a heart attack soon! Look, I understand that this is an adaptation. It's a new interpretation and writers need to do their own thing. That's all well and good. So, you know, I might be able to forgive this as long as they don't change Light's personality too much. I mean, it's not like they're gonna take a cue from Dragon Ball Evolution and make him some stupid, whiny, bullied high school kid with a chip on his shoulders, right? Right?
Hey, don't touch her!
Hey, I don't need your help, okay?
That's all you're gonna do? Out here all by yourself, come and teach me a lesson?
Yeah, so this is gonna be a long movie.
You may be disappointed.
So, like the anime, the Death Note falls from the sky and Light picks it up. He runs through the rain where he sees a stereotypical bully doing stereotypical bully things and tries to put a stop to it.
You got held back, didn't you, Kenny? Twice, I think?
You think that's funny?
No, I think it's very sad, actually. I only mention it because that would make you over 18, which means that if you were to beat me up, which I'm sure you could, it would technically be child abuse.
See, if you don't want to wind up on some kind of registry, I suggest you back the fuck.
And you suck! Enjoy the nap, genius! To the writers of this movie, it didn't work when Dragon Ball Evolution did it. Why the fuck did you think it was gonna work here? So instead of Light outing the bully who punched him like he clearly said he could legally do, he instead gets detention because when he was found, all the homework he was doing was found with him.
Detention. 2 weeks. Get out of here.
Now you may be asking yourself, why would the screenwriters make Light such an idiot and a pussy and a weakling who can't stick up for himself? But I'm here to tell you, I know the answer. It was to piss us off, right? Because, all things considered, you're doing a damn good job. Light's detention teacher, I guess that's a thing, decides to leave the room for a moment. Light begins reading the rules of the Death Note, at which time Light is confronted by a very familiar face from the anime. Oh, you are fucking dead to me, kid. Writers, was it really that hard to top this? No, then start doing it! So we finally get to see Ryuk, and honestly, the visual of him is pretty damn impressive. And it's only made more awesome that Willem Dafoe is playing him. Hell, the actor looks like Ryuk in real life. I don't think they could have made a better casting choice. He even spouts dialogue from the anime in his introduction.
Oh, yes. A dream. I like that. Dreams are places you can have fun, right? It's all in your mind, so why not enjoy it?
When I first saw the movie, I thought it was a bit of an odd choice to have Ryuk in the shadows all the time. I mean, if only Light can see him, why does he need to be in the shadows? But a good friend of mine pointed out to me that this was more than likely due to budgetary constraints, so while it clearly doesn't add up story-wise, it is certainly forgivable. I'm just happy they got a good actor for Ryuk, an actor who is well known for playing fun, over-the-top villains in the past. So I'm sure they'll have no problem getting Ryuk right in this adaptation. They have everything they need to make it work.
You may be disappointed.
So Ryuk tells Light the exact same shit he was just reading in the Death Note and persuades him to get revenge on the same asshole that bullied him.
Good. Now as long as we're playing, let's do it right. There's no need to stop it. Who?
Sorry, what else is there?
How? For a beginner, not bad at all. Now, watch.
Oh, so I guess the whole dying of a heart attack thing is no longer a rule of the Death Note. Oh wait, it is, because it was clearly just in the notebook as Light was reading it. But Ryuk just said that he had to write a cause of death. Did the person writing this forget what they wrote 2 minutes ago? Oh my god, flashbacks, the evil! The fact is, though, that they needed to sell this movie, and apparently the best way to do that was to turn it into Final Destination.
Oh my god! They killed Kenny! You bastards!
So Ryuk leaves Light, who I'm pretty sure will have a ton of explaining to do to that teacher who left the room for a moment. Or we can just cut to later and never explain what the hell happened. Or give him detention at any other point in the movie, even though he was supposed to have it for 2 weeks. But hey, the script didn't give a shit, why should I? So Light goes home and has a big argument with his father because, much like the ridiculously over-the-top death scenes, we also needed to sell that teen angst bullshit because God knows it worked so well in other anime adaptations in the past. You know what, I'm going to do my best to not make any more Dragon Ball Evolution references in this review, but I make no promises. I'm trying.
off if his dad paid his way out of jail. He killed my mom. He nearly beat his girlfriend to death. And you just sit there. You just sit there saying the same bullshit about how people better just trust your aim.
You're
and
still
just
pretty
trust
raw by what you saw today at school, and that's keeping you from thinking before you speak. I suggest you stop talking.
Wait, Light's mother is dead in this version? Why? What purpose does it serve? Well, sure we'll find out soon. Anyway, after looking through all the rules in the book again, even commenting about how many there are, Ryuk shows up once again to, of course, explain the same rules to him. Jesus fucking Christ, movie, pick one and go with it!
Rule 28. Each death must be physically possible, so no shark attacks while someone's on the toilet. As much as I love that idea.
Movie, you just showed a slow-moving ladder taking a kid's head off like a fucking dandelion. Physically possible, my ass. At this point, you could show me a koala ripping Light's guts out through his ears and it would make about as much sense. This actually leads to another issue I have. Unlike the anime, Ryuk actually has to instigate Light to use the Death Note in this version. They turn Ryuk into a puppet master as opposed to an observer. I want to talk more about this, but I'm going to wait a bit because there's more of an issue to this than you may realize. So rather than looking up some criminals and writing their names down in the Death Note to draw suspicion away from himself, you know, like the real Light would have done, the first person he decides to go and kill on his own is the guy who killed his mother because, you know, God knows that's not going to draw any suspicion when push comes to shove later in the film. Oh, I wasn't making a joke either. The people who investigate him later never even make this connection. Aside from a talk with his dad in the next scene, it's completely forgotten. So, yeah. The bully getting decapitated and killing off Light's mother were both completely pointless. Wow, thanks for wasting my time, movie. And you know, at 20 minutes in, that's gotta be a new record. So, the next day, Light brings the Death Note to school and reads it out in the open.
You're fucking retarded.
You know what? I'm just gonna have this going throughout the review. I really hope you don't mind. It's gonna make this so much easier for me. I mean, I don't understand this. Light is one of the smartest characters ever written, and this movie treats him like nothing more than a dumbass kid. Even in terms of it being an adaptation, it's beyond insulting. Is this film trying to say that all American teenagers are supposed to be whiny, horny dumbasses? I honestly can't see this movie doing any worse adapting any other character.
Oh, actually his head exploded into a million pieces, in case you're wondering.
You saw it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Mia.
Fuck you, 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 fuck you! Yes! Apparently that smoking cheerleader from earlier is supposed to be Misa, but I guess the name Mia tested better with the focus groups. Now, I could go on about how this version is nothing like the one from the anime, how Misa was a bubbly, flirtatious, and endearing character that Light used as a means to an end, how she would do anything for Light to keep him happy, how she was actually a good person who always meant well, even when she did bad things, giving her an absolutely perfect contrast to Light's psychotic nature. But instead, let's just look at this as a film. Just as a film for now, because, well, fuck it, I think Linkin Park can say it better than me. So even though Mia outed him to the principal and completely betrayed his trust, Light still finds it a good idea to share the Death Note with her because he's horny. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, forget her trying to get with him like in the manga and the anime. Now he's the horny idiot who has to impress her. It doesn't remind me of anything else at all. I'm trying so hard. Guys, I'm really trying. So he confirms to her that the Death Note does indeed work by killing a guy in a televised hostage situation that just happened to be on the TV at this moment in time. And the fact that he's a killer apparently turns her the fuck on because not only does she not call the mental asylum before or after this demonstration, they spend the next few days picking out names of people to kill and fucking on a regular basis. Death Note, the story of a sociopathic genius who used his intelligence to rid the world of all evil while simultaneously becoming the most evil human being on the planet. Netflix presents Death Note, the story of a horny teenager who used murder to get laid.
It's not the same!
So Light and Mia kill a ton of bad people with a bunch of Final Destination death scenes. Some incredibly fake-looking ones, too. Now, going back to what I said earlier, despite it being clearly written inside the book, the movie does away with the whole dying of a heart attack angle if the cause of death isn't specified. This is especially strange considering that in the anime, this is the very thing that made everyone realize that maybe the deaths weren't coincidental. You see, the reason people were able to catch on to this wasn't just because a bunch of people were dying. Hundreds of people die around the world every day. They were able to catch on because all of these criminals were dying the same way.
These were criminals who were probably facing execution sooner or later. Perhaps we shouldn't... Why should it matter whether it's a criminal or someone innocent? Last time I checked, murder was still murder.
It's still too early to consider these a homicide.
Then how did all these people have heart attacks at the exact same time? That's not coincidence, it's murder!
Over 100 deaths by heart attack, all of them criminals, is what made governments realize that maybe all of the deaths were connected. So, that being said, maybe this could work. It wouldn't make it better than the anime, but if there's nothing that connects all these deaths together, well, then maybe it gives Light and Mia the upper hand by not drawing attention to themselves.
A god that scares the shit out of the bad guys until they don't want to be bad anymore.
God inspires hope that things can actually change. Kira.
No.
Kira? What does that mean?
It actually means light in Russian or Celtic.
For the love of God, no!
Well, wouldn't you be worried that they could just trace it back to you then?
No, could they? It also sort of means killer in Japanese, so if they're gonna be looking for him, it's gonna be on the wrong continent.
Are you fucking serious? He gives the name to himself? Okay, forget the fact that Kira does not translate to light in Russian and Celtic. For the sake of argument, even if it did, which it doesn't, why would you pick a code name that literally translates out to your own name? It's not like your name is something common, you asshole. Your fucking name is Light. And your first victims were a bully who punched you and the guy who killed your mother. How would you not be the prime suspect after this, you dumbass? Now, you may be asking yourself, didn't he take the name Kira in the anime as well? Yes, he did. Except in the show, it was given to him by the Japanese populace because Kira loosely translates to killer in Japanese.
The Legend of Kira the Savior. Huh. Sounds pretty cool. Is this about you?
Yeah. I think they've taken the name Kira from the English word killer. Can't say I'm too happy about that, but it looks like that's the name they've decided to give me. When I search the word Kira, I'm pulling up tons of sites just like this one. The media hasn't picked up on it. They're still calling this a succession of unexplained deaths among the world's most hardened criminals. But the people of the world can already sense that there's something happening. They know there's someone out there passing righteous judgment.
He didn't willingly give himself a code name for his killer status. It was given to him, and due to his own ego, he decided to embrace it. It's like if a husband brutally murdered his wife and went through all the trouble of cleaning up the mess, only to turn around and hand the bloody knife to the damn cops. How is this gonna go well for you? Answer me! So, anyway, Light and Mia leave behind the calling card of Kira at each death because, they're fucking idiots. And all the actions of Kira attract the attention of a Sherlock Holmes-type private detective known as L. Now, there aren't many of these in this review, so I'll just get this one out of the way. Lakeith Stanfield surprisingly does a pretty good job playing L. He crouches in chairs, eats sweets, uses logical deduction, for the most part. Honestly, even though L was pretty much the whitest anime character in the history of, ever, I don't care that he's black in this version. It honestly doesn't bother me because he still plays the role so well. That being said, I really hope they don't do anything to fuck this up later. Damn it! So, naturally, since the name taking credit for all these murders is Japanese, with murders taking place all around the globe, it only makes sense that L and the task force would take up shop in Light's home city of Seattle. Wait, what?
He wants us to believe that he's Japanese, operating a half world away. He's not. Kira's in Seattle. Shall we help one another?
And you came to the conclusion that of all the places in the world he would be in Seattle because?
You've made two mistakes. This is 0 Day, Kira's first recorded murders, but previously, on April 15th, convicted felon James W. Brody had taken his wife and children hostage.
Really? Because one asshole out of a million assholes decided to take his family hostage? That's how you know Kira is here? You know, fuck it. If it makes the film go faster, I'll buy it. So L holds a press conference calling Kira out as a coward.
This would suggest that Kira is not some omnipotent force. He's a person, like you or me. He is also a coward. A child wielding power he does not understand, mistakenly believing in doing so, he's at no risk to himself. He's wrong. Kira, if you're watching this, know that I am coming for you.
Oh, goddamn it. Okay, I know it's probably really annoying with me, constantly calling back to the anime, but this scene in particular really fucking fascinates me. I'm sorry. Just roll the clip. In the anime, L held the press conference revealing a face and a name. Light saw the conference and killed this man, believing it was L. However, it turned out to be a decoy.
I should tell you that he was an inmate whose execution was scheduled for today. That was not me.
What?
But I assure you, L is real. I do exist. Now, try to kill me.
You.
Well, Kira, it seems that you can't kill me after all.
So there are some people you can't kill. You've given me a useful hint.
Although this was announced as a worldwide broadcast, the truth is, we are only broadcasting in the Kanto region of Japan. I had planned to broadcast this message around the world until we found you, but it looks like that won't be necessary. Naturally, I'm very interested to know how you're able to commit these murders without being present, but I don't mind waiting a little bit longer.
You can answer all of my questions when I catch you.
Here, he just goes on a podium, calls Kira a jerk, nothing happens to him, and this is all supposed to confirm his theory somehow? No, it doesn't! For all you know, Kira wasn't watching the damn TV. This does nothing to confirm your out-of-nowhere theory. We saw firsthand how we came to these conclusions in the anime, but this movie just kind of sneezes them at us and says, don't question it, we only got an hour left in this piece of crap. I don't get this. I may likely Keith Stanfield in this role, but this version of L is a tremendous step back from his original counterpart. That L proved he was smarter than anyone, whereas this one just simply tells you he's smarter than everyone. So for some reason that isn't really explained very well, L has Light and Mia followed. Funny he would do this, as he said not 5 minutes ago that his evidence pointed to someone in law enforcement, which prompted Light to stop using the Death Note until the investigation was resolved. But anyway, Mia doesn't take this very well.
However, Kira's supporters have begun to criticize police for suppressing its activities, as a small but noticeable spike in global crime has been...
Gee, I wonder why she went upstairs. What could she be getting?
Yeah, got some work to do.
There's a guy in the news who killed a couple kids. I thought maybe we could make some popcorn and take some names down for later.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Did this really not raise a red flag for you, Light? Really? Nothing? No questions as to why she just randomly ran upstairs and then suddenly had to bail? Okay, whatever, I guess we'll just ignore the obvious until the movie decides to bring it up again, or until the next scene where the same cops following them start dropping like flies. Literally.
He did. That son of a bitch killed them all.
You?
There's so many rules in that thing. There must be some kind of loophole or something.
What's he gonna do if
Think Ryu did it? You moron! Wake the fuck up!
I'm not gonna give the note to you or anybody else, and if you fuck with me again, I'm gonna put your name in it.
You could try. But I warn you, There are 4 letters in my name. Most anyone's ever gotten were 2.
Really? Because I'm pretty sure I saw your name written in that book earlier. So did Light, obviously, since he read your name out loud.
Don't trust Ryuk. He's not your pet, he's not your friend.
This brings me back to what I was saying before about Ryuk being an instigator and a puppet master in this version. Here, he chooses Light to have the Death Note. No particular reason, he just chooses him, and if Light doesn't want it, Ryuk can find it a new home because other people have had the Death Note before. Okay, you know what? Fuck it, fair enough. In the anime, he didn't choose Light. He actually goes out of his way to say that to him in the anime.
Just answer my question.
I didn't choose you. Don't you see this is all just an accident? You actually thought you were chosen because you're so smart or something? Don't be so vain. It just happened to fall around here and you just happened to pick it up. And that's all there is to it. That's why I wrote the instructions in English, the most popular language in the human world.
Ryuk only dropped the Death Note in the human world because he was bored.
I did it because I was bored.
You were bored?
He just kinda sat back and watched for the fun of it, adding to just how senseless all the deaths were. Hell, Light had written over 100 names in the Death Note before he even met Ryuk. But here's the difference that has his Puppet Master persona not make sense. If other people have had the Death Note before, are you really gonna tell me that no other person had this idea? Not a single person who had the Death Note before had the thought to rid the world of crime? Are you seriously gonna tell me that this obvious retard was the only one who thought of doing this? Oh, fuck this! But things get even more out of hand when Light's father decides to hold a press conference of his own.
Where is it?
What? Are you out of your mind? It's my fucking dad!
Yeah, and you just dared us to kill him on live television. And think about your mom, Light.
I'm sure he is thinking of his mother since you just tried to kill his only other parent, you psycho bitch!
Either Kira stands up or they hunt us down.
If you want out, then just get the fuck out!
Thank you! For the love of God, that is the smartest thing you've done in this entire film. You know what? I'll take a point away. My treat.
Do you really think people are gonna be on their knees if you can talk to Kira like that?
We're not killing my dad! Mia, this is over. Ryuk fucked us, we're not the good guys anymore.
Oh, wait, you still think Ryuk did it. So close, kid. So close. Anyway, because Light's father didn't die, L decides to confront Light on his own, smartly deciding to still cover his face so that Light won't be able to kill him if he discovers his name. Or he could just reveal his face mid-conversation. Fuck it. Anime, your move. The reason this confrontation worked in the anime was because both L and Light were vastly intelligent people, and it was engaging as well as suspenseful watching two brilliant minds go head to head, trying to stay one step ahead of each other. Here, Light is just a stupid kid, and L is just smarter than the average guy. Therefore, the dynamic between the two characters simply doesn't come across. There's no suspense, no real drama, no real development being had between these two characters at all. It just feels weak in comparison. As a scene by itself, it's fine and the performances are decent, but when you lose the dynamic between the characters you're adapting, you undermine what made them so enjoyable in the first place. So now that Light has seen L's face, he becomes obsessed with finding out his real name, and you actually let her back in your house? My God! Sweetheart, I thought you were a dumbass, but you know what? You're good. You do you. I'm gonna suffer through the rest of this. Light then gets the idea of using Watari to find out L's true identity. I don't know why. He could just order Watari to walk in a room and shoot L when he's sitting on the crapper or something, but whatever. Let's just move on. By using the Death Note, Light controls Watari for 48 hours, hoping to spare his life by burning the page with his name on it. However, as he discovers 48 hours later, this doesn't go as planned as Watari is killed when the page with his name on it goes missing.
Sir, answer me! Are you Watari?
I am Watari.
Watari!
That was pointless.
And of course, only now does Light realize who his girlfriend really is.
God, it was all you. Ryuk never found a loophole. You were the loophole.
No shit! it, Sherlock!
If you want out, you're out. All I need is for you to give me the book.
Are you insane? Do you think that I would ever let you near that thing again?
You didn't read it.
What did you do?
Light Turner's heart stops beating at midnight.
You're trying to kill me?
You're going to officially pass the book to me. And then once I'm the keeper, I'll burn your page. That's why I couldn't let you say Watari. You can only burn one name, and I wanted it to be yours.
There's so many.
It's over 9,000!
Jesus Christ, how psychotic is this bitch? It's like they gave Misa's naivety to Light and Light's psychotic nature to Mia. You couldn't have written these two more backwards if you tried. So while Light tries to save his own ass through very forced and stupid means that we'll get to in a minute, Elle discovers that Watari is dead and doesn't take it very well. Wait a minute! What kind of gun is that? Did he get that at a Star Trek convention? No, in fact, I take it back. I've seen every Star Trek show that has ever existed. Never once have I seen a gun that's stupid looking. Okay, and this is probably one of the biggest complaints with the film. If you were to ask any Death Note fan what the exact opposite of Elle was, they'd probably say an over-emotional jackass with a gun. And I am inclined to agree. I mean, Elle would never use a gun in the anime. His wits were enough for him. However, you may be shocked to know that this scene doesn't bother me too much. I mean, hear me out, please, hear me out. While this is out of character for Elle for a number of reasons, I personally think it's justified. Why? Because in the anime, Elle and Watari died at the same time, so you never saw Elle's reaction to his best friend and mentor dying. So, since Watari is dead and Elle is still alive, Elle having a simple monotone reaction to this would make him seem rather heartless, despite how logical and level-headed he is. I would imagine even the most level-headed person would go off the rails a bit if their best friend and mentor were just killed. So yeah, this particular moment of the film that everyone hates, justifiably so, actually doesn't bother me too much. Even if it does fuck up his character considerably, it works in the context of the moment. There you go, that's 1 point for the fans of this movie. All 3 of you. So Elle chases Light down with his goofy-ass gun and eventually corners him in an alley.
Wait! Didn't I clearly explain what would happen if Watari wasn't safely returned to me?
Wait, you need to understand how it works.
Don't move! Do not move! This man is Kita. I'm working with law enforcement in order to capture and eliminate...
And you suck! Wasn't that moment pointless? But I do have good news. The movie is almost over. Okay, now back to the real plot, if you can call it that. Light meets Mia at the carnival for some reason that's not really explained very well, and makes the Ferris wheel guy take them to the top.
If you love me, then you gotta trust me.
He wrote your name in it.
Don't take the book. Because if you do, you'll never see me again.
He wrote your name in it.
No!
What?
He wrote your name in it.
You put my name in it, didn't you?
No shit, Sherlock.
I can convince you not to take it.
Are you kidding me? Like,
You put my name in the book, I got mad at him.
Are you
said you loved me, I thought you wouldn't take the book!
And you're fucking dead. Goodbye, psycho bitch who does not resemble her original character at all. I will not miss you. So through incredibly complicated means, Light is able to get around Mia's plan by setting up a plan of his own involving a bunch of people dying while he's stuck in a coma. Admittedly, this is the closest that movie Light has been to anime Light in the entire film. I mean, sure, compared to the anime, it's still fucking child's play, but at least it's something.
Well, better late than never.
In your room. At first I couldn't figure out how I'd gotten out of my safe. Then it hit me. James Brody wasn't the first victim. It was Anthony Scomo.
Yeah, funny how the supposedly smartest man on the planet couldn't figure this out, but by pure coincidence was able to find the missing page of the Death Note in a calculus book. Bite me.
It's not funny! It's never been funny! It's never gonna be funny!
You humans are so interesting.
And that was the American version of Death Note. Jesus, anal raping Christ. This is not just one of the worst films of the year. It is not only one of the worst anime adaptations of all time, if not the worst. The American Death Note is one of the most poorly written movies I have ever seen. Period. I can't believe that this piece of shit had 3 writers. 3 fucking writers! And through all that fine-tuning, this is what we fucking got? What a fucking load. Most of the characters are horribly adapted, and even the ones that aren't still manage to act out of character at times. The song choices are so weird I didn't even bother talking about them. The changes to the source material really don't make sense when you stop to think about them, and the deaths in this movie are ridiculous. Death Note is not Final Destination. Whoever made the decision to portray it that way ought to be shot. However, there is one more good thing I could say about the film. It looks nice. Adam Wingard did a good job directing the film, and if I'm being honest, I don't see him as the problem with this movie at all. It takes a lot to make such a terrible script work to your advantage, and while the writing is utter shit, the visuals of the film are nice to look at. Ever since the movie was released on Netflix, Adam Wingard has received nothing but shit from Death Note fans, including death threats. Well, this Death Note fan is here to reveal that this wasn't his fault. It was the fault of a studio and horrendous screenwriters who had no idea what the fuck they were doing, and Wingard did the best he could. From the look of Ryuk to Stanfield's performance and that admittedly awesome scene of the Ferris wheel crumbling, he did the best he could with what he had. And I sincerely hope people stop bad-mouthing the one person behind the scenes who actually did his fucking job. That's more than I can say for Netflix, and more than I can say for the 3 hack writers who worked on this. This was the adaptation, this was the film so bad that it gave me the drive to come back and do this again. It made me want to bring back Epic Film Fail, if only for this, because this was so bad that it actually hurt me. I felt dirty watching this film. Not because of the visuals, but because the way the writers handled these characters was nothing short of fucking insulting. The Death Note movie was terrible. Fuck this thing. Watch the anime instead. It will blow your fucking mind. Thank you all for being so patient with this review. Next time we're gonna rip some Heroes in a Half Shell a new asshole.
Cause it's